Hi guys, my name is Shay and I'm calling you from Monrovia, California. Today we are going to make a paloma, kind of like the margarita's cousin or the older sister of the margarita. It's a little more sophisticated and fancy with those bubbles and different flavors in there. So we're gonna start just by prepping our citrus. So go ahead and grab that grapefruit. We're gonna cut it right down the middle. So stems facing the wall, cut it right down the center here. Now I cut it like this so it's easier to squeeze, and we can also make a really fun garnish out of this later. Two nice little halves there. Same thing with our lime. Go ahead and cut that lime right down the center, stems facing the walls. Makes it a little easier to get all that juice out. Now before I start squeezing anything here, I want to go ahead and salt my rim. I like to use a wine glass for my palomas because they're really nice and juicy, so it kind of holds everything that I want to drink in my little glass, and then just kind of makes it a little prettier, I think. It kind of adds that little something. So I'm going to take my lime, don't have to squeeze it on there, we just want to rub it, get it nice and sticky right along the rim here. And I'll go ahead and just kind of shimmy this in the salt. I like to use coarse salt or sea salt. It kind of gives it a nice thick rim. Super fun. Alrighty. Now, because grapefruits are so big and we have our limes, we don't want too much citrus in here. So we're just gonna use half of each one of these. So go ahead and start with your lime, open up that citrus press. We're gonna put that juice side of the lime facing those holes, give it a nice squeeze. If you don't have a citrus press, totally fine, use your hands. Now my grapefruit's a little bit larger, won't really fit on my citrus press, so you could cut this into quarters and use it that way. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of wedge it in my shaker here and block it with my other hand, give it a nice good squeeze, get all those juices in there. Now if you have any seeds or pulp falling in, totally fine. That strainer is gonna go ahead and leave those pieces behind so we're only getting what we want to drink in our cocktail. Beautiful. Oh, the color on this is going to be amazing. Perfect. Alrighty, so we have our citrus in there. Now I want to add something sweet. So I am going to use my simple syrup. I like to just make my simple syrup from scratch. I know what's going into it, and then I kind of always have it on hand as well. So I'm going to do 1 ounce, so that small side of my bar jigger, right into my shaker here. Perfect. Then we're going to grab the fun stuff, the heat, if you will. So we're going to do 2 ounces or 2 parts of tequila. So go ahead and use that large side of your bar jigger. So all that's in there is our lime, our grapefruit, our simple syrup, and our tequila. Now go ahead and add some ice to your shaker and ice to your glass. Now we're not gonna add our sparkling water quite yet. Anything carbonated in your shaker will make it explode, so we don't really wanna add it in there until after. We'll use it to top it off. Go ahead and keep one finger on the cap. Give it a nice good shake, 10 to 15 seconds, or until it's nice and frosty. Should be getting nice and cold. Alrighty, I can draw a line in that frost, so we're good. We're gonna go ahead and strain this out. And you'll see that light pink color is so gorgeous. Perfect. Now go ahead and just top off with some sparkling water. Go ahead and add that bubble in there. Yes, beautiful. We're gonna give this a little stir because we don't want to just have a mouthful of sparkling water on the top. And before I dive in, I want to add a fun little garnish to this. So since I have some lime left over, I'm just going to cut off this little stem end here. Don't need that. Then we're going to go ahead and just cut about a 1/4 inch of the way in. We're going to end up with this nice little lime wheel here. So about a 1/4 inch of the way in, just thick enough to where it's not really going to fall over. And from the center down, we're just gonna go ahead and give that a little slice. And it just looks so much better than having a boring old lime wedge on there. Look at that. If you really want to go the extra mile and impress your guests, I don't think that Bloody Mary should be the only cocktail that gets to have all the fun with some cool garnishes. So let's add a little something else. If you have that other half of your grapefruit here, we're gonna think about this as a clock. So we have 12, 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna cut 1 hour out of our clock. So from the center to 12 and the center to 1. It's gonna kind of look like a little Pac-Man here. So cutting out that little wedge, kind of looks like a sailboat to me. Now right between this pith and that kind of fleshy part of the grapefruit, we're gonna cut about halfway up. So you don't wanna cut too high or it'll kind of fall into your glass, but just halfway up. And I'm gonna set that right next to my lime wheel here. So it kind of sits halfway in and halfway out of my glass. And there you have it, a nice classic Paloma. Cheers.